Hey Manny, how you doing?
I'm doing great, and thank you so much. How are you doing here?
I'm doing fantastic. It's great to have you and great to see you as well. How's your day been so far?
Thank you so much for having me.
You're
Thank you
very
so
welcome.
much.
You're very welcome. Yeah. So let the viewers know who you are, what you do, and why you do it, Manny.
Well, I'm Dr. Manii Daas. I'm a holistic relationship coach for the past 8 years, trying to help individuals and couples to build a beautiful relationship with self, not only with self, but with each other. Because I believe that you can't pour from an empty cup.
That's right. That's right.
Uh,
Yeah,
you give what you have.
right, for sure. So what led you to that journey? Like, how did you decide that relationship coaching is what you wanted to do? Like I'm looking at your background and your journey. What led you to that moment where you thought this is what I want to do?
Oh, well, to give a very brief about myself, I come from a background where my father was in the Indian Army.
Okay.
So after every 2 years, he would be posted. There were many challenges which we had to face. And I had a brother who was 3 years younger to me. In 2000, he was killed in action.
No, sorry to hear that.
Um, yes, it was just after the Kargil War, and he's a gallantry award winner. But the loss of that son from the parents and the kind of society that we live in, it is a patriarchal society, and see, everybody looks, once the son grows up, he's going to take the reign of the family and everything. All of a sudden, I felt um, emotionally that I had to take care of my parents, a void which I could never fill up. And later on, even in my personal journey, there were certain events that happened where in 2015, I just kept on searching for some therapists, and I don't have any shame in telling, and that is one of the reason. But at that moment of time, I felt it was a shame. Well, my husband is gay. But at that moment of time, when we both were discovering ourselves, things were not, although I got married in 99, but in India, at that time, even he did not explore much of his sexuality. Even I did not explore much of it. So, we two people came into a marriage and started understanding each other. And this is the message I keep on giving people around, that you cannot know yourself until unless you are there in relation. In some relationship, you know yourself only through some relationship. Like, how am I as a mother? How am I as a sister? How am I as a lover? Only when I am in that role. Like, you can read a lot, and you can watch a lot, but you have to play out. You have to be in action. So I don't blame him. But I'm so fortunate that he's a very honest person. And in 2012, when he came out, it was a big thing for him also to come out in the world. And by the time we already had two kids. So at that moment, I was relieved, because I thought that, thank God, that I came to know that, it's not that I'm not desired, it's not that, but the equation is something different. Like, we are not on the same page, our needs are something different. And then I got enrolled in the university into counseling and stress management. I've been teacher for 23 years. I've been teaching in school. So I never thought that I'll be a therapist. I never thought so. But when I completed my 2 years of my counseling and stress management, you know, automatically, I don't know, my energy or somewhere, I attracted people, or people got attracted to me. They found a kind of an emotional safety zone to share. And suddenly somebody said, why don't you do it professionally? And then I started, like, past 8 years, I've been doing that. And a time came, like this year itself, I quit my the permanent job where I was HOD of bio department. But I quit that job happily, with lots of grace and respect. I owe a lot of gratitude to my institution, but this was greater because I feel that my purpose is to spread more knowledge about relationship dynamics to young people as young as possible.
Right, 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 right.
So that is the mission. Like that is what draws me. That it's like you can mend a relationship, you can walk away from a toxic relationship, you can find your own calling. And I think some professional help can really do wonders to people.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, I think it's great that you was able to pursue your dreams. You know, like a lot of people get stuck in what they feel like they have to do and don't get the opportunity to do the things that they want to do. So it's wonderful that you're able to actually pursue that and make it your lifestyle. Now, looking at the past, you know, we all have different struggles that we've had in previous relationships, and we have to navigate through those struggles to get to where you are now. And looking at your situation, you mentioned that you discovered that your husband was gay. So, like, how did you navigate through that time period? What was that time period like for you? Like, it must have been a shock to your system to realize this. And how did you get through that period? And what was it like for you?
It was not an easy thing. Yeah. Not at all easy, because there was there was a lot of conflict. One way I was very relieved that the truth came out and we both were authentic self. We both had kids, we were parents. So in the long, like as we were walking through the journey, we realized that we didn't want to change the role of our, like, being parents. Like, he will remain the father, I'll remain the mother. So we are still continuing under the same roof. Of course, we have our diverse, separate ways of moving. Um, that's a different story altogether. But what happened was we were bound by that, what you say, uh, as the role of parents. We had empathy for each other, instead of trying to blame each other for what we could not do. We tried our best to make this system work, because we are responsible to bring our children to this world. So it is very important for us to give them a very safe environment, a very important. So he came out very honestly with the children. My children were very young at that time. The younger one was in grade 4, the elder one was in grade 8. But what I think, what came out in our relationship, like people at times they say that I think we have seen one of the most dysfunctional functional family.
Right, right, right.
Everybody is like, we are try our best to live our authentic self, not to pretend what we are not. And that is how we have been. Like, I have been, my husband has been my two boys. The elder one is 23, the younger one is 19, and they are pursuing their own fields. Like, elder one is pursuing his music degree, the younger one is in his engineering, doing his graduation. So I think in a way, like, as parents, we are the role models as well. I just cannot say that to my children, please be brave. Like, they have to see somebody, a role model. And I think the parents are their first role models, that they see whether their parents, what they're thinking, what they're speaking, what they're doing, are all these things are in alignment.
Right, right. And when you mention finding your authentic self, in that time, like you were very ingrained in the family because, like, this is your husband or you're the wife, these are the children. So, like, that would have been maybe a part of your identity, so to speak. So, when you found out that that was not the case, and like your husband had other things on his mind that he needed to share with you, what was it like for you to now start to recreate yourself or to find yourself, to know that who is your authentic self when you realize it was no longer what you thought it was?
Of course, even I had my own challenges because we were very open to each other. We were saying like if you get a partner, you will get ahead, and we can have a legal separation or whatever. So we were very clear from the very beginning. And it's not that I did not go into relationship or he did not move into relationship. The only thing was that none of our things worked. Till now, it has not worked. So maybe in future it can work. What happened was that in everything, in every single day, I think for both of us, we learned what was working for us and what was not working for us. And we were in our honest self, till on date. So I think on today's date, if I get somebody or he might get someone, I think we'll have a different life altogether. And we'll open up. We'll say this is how things are. This is and we are very open with our children also regarding that. So, and I tell my children also, like, of course, they are no longer kids, that you please explore yourself, and your mind, your subconscious mind, or your intuitive mind, your gut, it is going to guide you.
Right.
Is somebody respecting you? Is somebody being kind to you? Is somebody accepting you the way you are? Is somebody trying to fix you? Somebody wants to change you? Are you comfortable? Your inner voice will always speak to you. So it's not only that I practice for myself, I tell that to my clients also, whatever theories we come up with, everything. But, the image that we try to show in front of people with that mask and the one that we have for ourselves, if we are coming both things together, like today, whatever I'm speaking, it took me years of therapy and healing work for myself. I did my inner child healing. I did, like, it just like whatever I'm saying today. Maybe a few years back, it would be shame for me. Like I was not comfortable speaking all these things.
Yeah.
It's like now, as I'm speaking to, I feel that I have found my voice. And there is no shame in it. It's my story. It's a very powerful story. Like you choose either to be a victim or you choose to be a victor.
For sure. For sure. For sure.
So, yeah, two people can meet. Things cannot go right, but that doesn't make us bad people.
Yeah.
That doesn't make us bad people. There are certain things that did not work out. So, but we do have choices that how do we honor ourselves in an authentic way, that we present ourselves to the world without trying, it's a very difficult thing to put on the mask in front of people, what you're not, and behind you come out, and it's a tiring journey. I went through that journey. It was very tiring.
Yeah.
And the day I came out, the first time I came out in a one of the group sessions, that was very empowering for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely very important to connect with your inner self and your inner nature to really know yourself, regardless of what's going on in the outside world, and regardless of what's going on with people around us, even as well. Like you mentioned shame, like it feeling like a shame back then, and you were able to overcome that feeling. A lot of people, when they come out of, let's say, a failed relationship or a relationship that didn't work out, they do feel a sense of shame about the relationship not working out, and they don't know how they're going to move forward into a new relationship or with their life because they're carrying around this sense of shame. In what ways do you feel like they can move forward with their life and overcome that feeling in the same way that you did?
Kayo, I remember in one of the conversations that I've had with Dr. Salman Akhtar. He's a very renowned psychotherapist. And in one, I was very fortunate to have a conversation with him. And he writes, poetries and all. And he sent me a mail after, we had some conversation. And that was a time when I was not in a very good zone. And he told me something that, Manii, it's not that when you are seeing yourself in front of the mirror and you are not accepting yourself, that you are not desirable, beautiful, or whatever, that something has happened in your life, it's not that the mirror is wrong. You are standing in front of the wrong mirror.
Right.
And in this very, very, very lifetime, you might meet a right mirror where you can see your true reflection. So it is not that we are wrong, like we need to meet people, and how it happens by chance, in whichever way it happens, that whatever energy with which you are, suppose I'm there with my authentic energy, that I respect myself, I'm kind to myself, I'm empathetic toward myself. Now I become a vessel of all these values, that I have my negotiables and I have my non-negotiables. So when I meet somebody, I'll definitely, choose a person who is going to match these values.
Right.
And that is what we say, that you attract people with your own energy.
Yeah.
So if I had attracted that kind of an energy, whichever relationship did not work, or for anybody who doesn't work, it is because we give out that energy to somebody. And that's the reason we attract those people in our life. Like suppose if I value myself for the whatever, for whatever core values I have, and I meet somebody who's being very abusive, disrespectful, naturally I'm not going to choose that person. But if I have, my esteem is low, and I think that, oh my God, that person looks so charismatic and so handsome, so rich, and this and that. And I'm really waiting. Oh my God, that person has really said that you can go out for a date, and I feel so gratified with that, but doesn't treat me properly. So that charisma has got no value to me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whether my needs are being met or not, that is very important. So it's my advice is that whenever you are going out with anybody, whatever riches, like the girl can be extremely beautiful with this figure, that figure, whatever, rich, whatever, but are you feeling valued in that person's presence? How does that person make you feel?
Yeah, yeah, very true. Like, it's true that like how you carry yourself and how you present yourself is,
How are you feeling emotionally connect with each other? That's the reason why, those one night stands, it actually doesn't work, because you are not building in that those things. You're not building, a person doesn't build that emotional safety zone with each other where a person can feel psychological safe. So if I have to be with a person where I have to be terrorized, or I have to filter my talks, or I have to delete my texts, and that I have to be, not be myself, that means I'm not, how long are you going to um uh pretend or put on those makeup and trying to look pretty and handsome and whatever. At the end of the day, when you go out and sleep, you have to remove those makeup, and that real self is going to come out.
yeah, for
Are
sure.
you comfortable with it or not?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. Like, how you carry yourself is how people will treat you and respond to you. And if you put yourself
Yes.
in a position where you feel caged in, then people will cage you in. But if you put yourself in a position that you free yourself, then people will respect your freedom
Yes.
and boundaries and things like that as well, Yeah, so
Yes.
that is very true. Now, looking in the context of human nature now, like, we go out all the time and we see different people that we're attracted to, people that entice us and that we want to get to know more about sometimes, So in that context and the fact that we're attracted to the people all the time, what is your viewpoint on monogamy versus non-monogamy?
Well, there's a joke around, like just 2 days back, I was seeing some reel that I'm very committed to one person at a time. you know, there are people, they say that I'm seeing five people, but at a time I'm committed to you. This is just a joke apart. And I remember the same question, a different was asked in my question paper when I went to my, for admission in the psychology course in the university. There, the question was similar to that, was given that if you have a chance, like you can go with n number of, men or women, whatever of your choice, versus you stay with one person. So what will be the, like, what is your take? The take is like, if you ask me, I can't handle 10 people at the same time or three people at the same time. I can't. I'll be very jealous. I'll be very anxious. All these negative emotions will come up with me. I can't do it. But yes, people are in their open relationship. Okay. And there are certain religions where they can have multiple, partners, multiple wives they can have, as long as they are consenting, as long as adults they are very clear about their boundaries, they are very open about. There are open relationship where they talk about very openly that this is how it is, as long as two people are comfortable with each other in
Right,
whatever, fine, go around.
right. So like,
I do get calls like I'm having three people at the same time and all these things. If it is functioning well for you, okay, go around.
yeah,
But for me, if you ask, no.
yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, I mean, it should definitely always be ethical with consent. So, like, some people, like, they're in a relationship and they have a desire to open up the relationship, but they would like to have the consent of their partner. They'll like it to be ethical, but they're worried about if they was to speak to their partner about this, that it's going to destroy their relationship or ruin their relationship. So, what is your viewpoint on how they can have that conversation, or do you feel like if if they do you feel like they should suppress their feelings in order to stay in that relationship, or do you feel like they need to have that conversation?
You need to have the conversation. I just had a session just like just before this I had a session, and nowadays we talk a lot about situationship and all these things, and this actually happened with one of my clients. They were going around with for 1.5 years, and the girl started her developing feelings. She fell in love. She also felt that the boy was also in love, but the both of them, they never spoke about it. Ultimately she had a big panic attack, and then she was landed in the hospital, and later on things came out. I always believe, like, if after a particular period of time, like after maybe a month or 2 months or 3 months, you start feeling that you would like to take this thing further, it is always better to say, okay, look here, I think I'm started having a feeling for this, and I'm really looking forward to what is your take on this. Like, how are you seeing this relation to be? For example, let me just give you an example. Suppose you have boarded a train, and you see the train has, it's going in the wrong direction, and suddenly after 3 4 stations you realize, oh my god, I've boarded a wrong train. What are you going to do?
Well, you're
Won't
gonna
you get down?
you're gonna get down, yeah.
You get down. So we get down, and then what I'm going to do? Am I going to board on the next train, jump on the next train,
Go in the opposite direction.
or just wait? Is the opposite direction? Which direction is it coming? Is it the right one, or the destination where I have to go? At least let me wait for that. At times, we go into the rebound relationship. Like, we are people, just they break up with one thing and then they meet somebody else without healing or without even understanding their needs and what went wrong. They jump into another one, doing maybe repeating the same pattern, again have a breakup, and then they may even have a thing for themselves that women are not to be trusted, men are not to be trusted, or some kind of label or some kind of a statement that love is not meant for me, like some kind of a limiting belief that comes out. So it's always better, have, first of all, know your checklist. Okay, what all the things I need in a relationship. I make them work with my clients. I make them work. You write down whatever you want. You write down, and you feel like how does this respect looks like to you? How does love look like to you? You speak about it. You talk about it. You write about it. And then when you meet somebody, you see whether this it's isn't it more easy for you to walk into a grocery store with a checklist that these are the items I need? Otherwise, you can, put certain things on the cart which actually you don't need it and you don't even realize it. You know,
Right. So essentially, you're saying like being just open to anything would get you in a bad relationship rather than knowing exactly what you want in a
so
relationship
be
and getting a
open.
match.
definitely you have to be open. I cannot be closed. I have to be open to, or maybe there are certain things which was not in my checklist, but I received something which is new, and even though it is new, and then I experience it, and I see this is actually working for me, but I didn't even, because at partners, it is not always uh, uh, at times we even don't know unless we are in a relationship. At least certain things we need to know, but certain things can also come to you with which you never experienced earlier.
Mm.
So are you even open to even understand that, to receive it, be flexible enough? So communication, I think a clear communication in relationship is very important.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. And for people that like are monogamous, they've chosen both of them have chosen monogamy, and that's the path they've gone down. But along the line, infidelity has happened. Somebody has stepped out of the relationship but hasn't told their partner, so that they tend to carry around a sense of guilt about what has happened, and they'd like to open up and come clean to their partner. In what ways can they have that type of conversation with their partner without destroying the whole relationship, if possible?
Eh, It is a very, very sensitive thing. It's not easy. Once a partner comes to know that I've been cheated upon, you know, it is very disheartening. As Esther Perel, I just saw her saying in one of the podcasts, or read her also in the book, that why does the person feel so bad? Because just a second, you realize that I'm replaced. Somebody else becomes so important that whatever I gave in and everything, just within a second, because the minute you come to know, it is just a second. In that second, you realize that I'm no more the queen, or I'm no more the prince or the king anymore. It's difficult. It's difficult. But at the same time, one also has to understand that what made this thing happen. So it can go either ways. Like if somebody says, this is a complete non-negotiable. Like if you ever cheat on me, if you go out with somebody, I'm sorry, like this cannot go. Like this is the end of the relationship. I've also seen people forgiving, because with anything that goes wrong in a relationship, it breaks open that part of you, that wound. And that wound is actually a message that what needs to be repaired. So actually, if two people can go into therapy, it is definitely, first is the one who has cheated on, if I call the term cheated, went on for infidelity for that.
Mhm.
That person has to understand that a lot of hurt has been caused to the other person, whatever the reasons were, without going into defense. Because if you need to be honest that if things are not working, have you spoken with each other? Have you tried to communicate with each other? And one of the greatest killers of any relationship is contempt. Like we try to belittle each other. So how has your communication been? Were you seen, heard in the relationship? So did you go to a therapist? Did you try to seek help? Or it just happened that a part of your, or maybe at times it also happens that everything seems to be going well and everything, but then people get some spark somewhere else, you know that spark becomes, and then the person starts feeling guilty. It was not something that wanted to do it. So I give an example to my clients, that suppose you are walking through a Gucci store, and you just like that Gucci bag. Are you just going to pick up that Gucci bag and come out? If you're caught, there there is a price tag for it, with shame, guilt. So you will find very attractive people around you, but you have to ask yourself that, is it worth taking that risk? Because if you value your relationship, that primary relationship with whom you are with, you please give a second thought before indulging in this, because everything will come with a price tag.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
will be drama, there will be crying, there will be so many things, there will be guilt, shame, blame, heartbreak, many things.
Mm,
Are
yeah.
you ready for it?
Yeah, for sure. There is definitely a price tag for all of our actions, and we have to question if it's worth it for us going forward. But you did mention a spark, and speaking about sparks, when we look at brand new relationships, like people tend to have that spark. They want to immerse themselves in this new relationship. There's a lot of chemistry, and they want to really indulge in this new person. But along the way, some people tend to lose their sense of self in the process. So, how could people immerse themselves in a new relationship without necessarily losing their sense of self in the process?
Well, one has to be very, careful with that. And see, suppose you get attracted. Of course, the admiration and the spark, and this has to be there. I've seen certain relationship where people are getting into a relationship without actually feeling the spark as well. Maybe they've had some bad relationship and somebody comes and starts admiring. And just because I'm getting some admiration and some gratification from somebody, the other person, so, you try to move on with the flow, but you don't feel it. So first and foremost, you need to even, the one has to understand whether you are getting the butterflies in your stomach as well as peace,
Mm.
both things. Of course, at that time, the initial phase, the dopamine is so high and that you are not able to concentrate, and day night you would like to talk about, think about, and all these things about the person. But does this relationship brings the best out of you, is helping you into growth, or it is bringing more chaos in your life?
Right, right. Yeah,
you know if it's bringing more chaos, that no, you have to attend me right now, you have to come out right now, no, you cannot speak to this person, no, you cannot do this, no, you have to quit this thing, like, or it's my way or highway, like it cannot be done this way, like, are you compelled to do according to the script of that person, or you are also, you can talk about your vulnerabilities, you can talk about your needs, it has been mutually respected, you are able to respect each other's needs and boundaries, you have that. So does it feel peaceful, that
mm,
yes, I can do my work, and I know at the end of the day, even in the long distance relationship, what happens is it can go wonderfully well also, because big thing in a long distance relationship is about the trust.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I say, okay, even if it's a long distance relationship or in short distance, even if you are 2 hours away or 1 hour away or half an hour away, even not in the physical presence of the person, in this online world, you really don't always need to be in, like, you can cheat in many ways. The other person will not even come to know about it. uh are you getting the sense of, as the days progress with the butterflies, do you get the peace
Right, right.
or
So,
you get the chaos?
okay, yeah, yeah. So it all comes down to that balance, like, even though they immerse themselves, they have to make sure it's balanced with the peace within them. Yeah, very true, very true. So, yeah, Manny, like, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for everything that you've shared. Where could people find you, find out more about you, and find out more about what you do?
They can find me in LinkedIn. I'm Dr. Manii Daas, is there. They can also find me in Facebook, uh, Manii Das. They can find me in Google.
Mhm.
If they
Okay, great.
just type my name, Manii
Yeah,
Das, psychological counselor, they can find me there.
yeah.
They can find me in Instagram also, and Dr. Manii Das. Like, they can find me in different platforms.
Okay,
But
great.
Google, yeah, Google, LinkedIn, Facebook, yeah.
And Instagram. Yeah, and for the viewers, all of that information will be in the description, so you can contact Manny and find out more about what she does. Once again, Manny, thank you so much for coming on. Any final words before we wrap up?
Life is what you make. So make the best out of it. Strike on to what you will. And whatever successes you are thinking, it's for you. You don't have to worry. The right person who values you will recognize you and will be with you.
Excellent, excellent.
So
Life
be
is
in that abundance mindset.
excellent. Yeah, life is what you make it. Used to be my slogan actually. So yeah, I like that one very much. I like that one. So
Okay.
yeah, thank you so much, Manny. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kyo, for having me. It was a beautiful conversation. I loved the way it was conducted. Thank you so much for having. Thank you so much. My gratitude.
You're very
Thank you.
welcome, Manny.